Okay, today I'm doing the anime main character tier list of all the animes that I have seen. And if you've been subbed to me for a little bit now, I'm sure you've seen the one that I did a little bit back, but the only difference was I did that with my friends. So there's a lot of different opinions being thrown around, and obviously that's going to skew the ranking of how I feel, because obviously everything in that video was not how I felt, and it was more so of like a middle ground. So this video is going to be me by myself giving my opinion on each main character that I have watched, and I've watched about 50 or so anime. So I mean, this can be a little ride right here. Sit back, get the popcorn. I'm about to explain, do all that shit. So I'm just hop into it right now. First off, we got Gon off the bat. Let me move him right here. First off, we got Gon off the bat. Okay, so I'm be ranking these characters off a couple things, right? Their development, how deep their character is, really how cool they are, because I feel like that's important. While people want to believe it or not, I feel like just they're like swag, you know what I'm saying? I feel like that's a little important aspect of the character. Their physical features, I guess, maybe, but really just like how they carry themselves and their depth are really the two things that I'm gonna really base it off of. And with Gon, oh, and their personality too, just in general. But he you know, he's that excited little kid. His actual development over the time in the series that we get to see in the anime, I personally enjoyed it. You really see him go from like, because if you look at it, Gon's really like a psychopath. Like, he is just a little too happy, and then the amount of rage that he has is like kind of unhealthy. You know what I'm saying? Like, he shouldn't have that much rage with him. I understand why to an extent, because like, yeah, she beheaded Kite, whatever, but it's like to gain that much rage from, it's just ridiculous. It's absolutely obscene, but I get it, right? But just going off the series alone, I would have to give Gon like a B. I think I like his character. I think his depth and development was definitely present, especially towards the end of the series. His personality is a little bit basic for me. You know, it's not the deepest. You know what I mean? It's just like he's happy and then he turns, and like his development is there for sure. But I think his personality is not. It's nothing that like I really am like the most attracted to. You know what I'm saying? It's just sometimes I could find not annoying, but it's just, I don't know. Gon's kind of cold now that I think about it. Like the thing he did at the Zoldyck residence with like the quarter and like the eye cut, and then he was like catching the guy. I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. Gon has had some moments. I might have to give him A. I'm not gonna lie to you. I might have to give him. No, I would keep him. No, I'll put him in A. I'll put him in A. He's definitely had like. I'm not the biggest fan of his personality, but with his character development over time, you see his strength increase. He really trains, and like he has just had some really sick moments overall. I would have to give Gon an A. I would have to, honestly. I think that's a fair A tier. Next we got, I think this is Jonathan, if I recall correctly. I'm not gonna look it up. His character, I would put him in D. I really don't got to explain it that much. His character, it was like an 11 episode run. He learned Hamen, and then he fought Dio. There really wasn't anything more to his character that I personally feel like needs to be worth discussing. You know what I mean? I'm not going to put him in F. Like, he wasn't like an unlikable character, but like his character in general for me wasn't the most favorable. You know, there was nothing really that stood out to me about him, obviously, other than like the slight flashiness of the Joestars. Now, Joseph, on the other hand, I'm pretty sure that his name is Joseph. I would have to put him, I might have to put him in A too. I might have to slide him in there just because I love his energy. Okay. Yeah, no, with Joseph, actually, no, I'm gonna move him down because I'm looking at Gon, right? And I'm looking at the people that I have in here, and there are a lot of people that I would put in A, because Joseph brings a lot of comedy to the show, and I really like him in part 2. I like him in part 3, and I like him in part 4 as well. And he is a very crafty character when it comes to like getting out of situations, and he is also just very funny overall. And I really think that's all he brings to the table. Like he didn't really have the most like development in terms of like his character. I think his character is just a super cool, funny character who brings a lot of energy to the show and excitement, and I really enjoy him for that. So I'm gonna leave him in B. Next we got Thorfinn. I'm talking about anime strictly, by the way, with all these characters. And Thorfinn to me is, you see him from a child and you see him develop into a very, very cold individual, but he does have a lot of like bottled in emotions, and I really do enjoy seeing it. Realistically, I think I'm gonna put Thorfinn at B. Reason being, right, with Gon, for example, we see Gon's development in terms of like how cold of a character he gets, and like how serious he is towards the end of the series, especially when he's going to find his dad, right? You could kind of see his demeanor change a little bit. With Thorfinn, you see him go from a jovial kid, right? He's very happy, and then his dad dies, I think, and then he gets that built up rage towards Askeladd, but then he ends up working with him and developing a hate-love relationship with him, which is very beautiful to see. It's kind of sick, actually. But then obviously, other than that, that's all you get for Vinland Saga. So I mean, I feel like Thorfinn at the end of the day is going to end up being a god tier, A tier character. But for me, I would put him at B. I would put pluses in here, but I feel like that's making it too much. If I were to, I would put him at a high B though. A high B. I would put him at the top of B tier as of right now for me. And that may change later on when I revise the list. Next, we got Subaru. As much as I hate Subaru's antics and how much he sims, because he does, everyone knows this realistically, I think his development as a character and in terms of like his mental has definitely been there. You know, I would have to give Subaru an A tier, and the realistic only reason why he's not god tier is because I find him very annoying, and he pulls the same gimmicks all the time with his jokes and his foolery. I'm bringing out the words out the dictionary right now. I don't know what's going on with me, but no, that's really why he's not in god tier for me, because I feel like his character, like, he kind of learned a lot through his rebirths over and over again, and it really, like, any normal person, I feel like, is going to be really, really messed up by that. And like, obviously it has affected him, but he has been learning how to like really channel that and like put it towards something else, and his interactions with characters has been a lot better. I don't know, I do like Subaru though. As much as he gets hate, realistically, I would say he's an A tier main character. I don't know. I might put him high B too, actually. I don't know. I'm gonna leave him high B. I was thinking about it. I'll leave him high B. Mugen, super swag. I'm gonna be honest. Dude's got that drip. He is from Samurai Champloo. I remember the show being an S tier. I don't remember much about Mugen and Jin though. I remember Jin was very soft spoken, and I don't even remember that much about him. So I would honestly put him in C, if I recall correctly. Mugen, I think Mugen is sick. I think for what his character brings, you know what, I think I would do this. No, because like there's development, but I mean, you could enjoy a character while there may not even be that much development to it and still put him in A tier. And that's why I think I'm gonna move Subaru up, and I'm also gonna put Mugen in A tier as well, because I think I just enjoyed his character, and for his show, he killed it. I'm not gonna lie to you, he killed his show. He killed the role he was supposed to play as the main character, one of the main characters in his show, and I loved him. I loved him so much. Jin was, as I said, a little bit more soft-spoken, quiet. He was strong. I think he played his role well too. I just don't remember that much, so I'm gonna leave him in C. But Mugen, I remember really liking Mugen. I loved Mugen. One of my favorite main characters from a lot of the shows that I've seen. So I think I would put him in A tier just off pure enjoyment, because at the end of the day, this is my opinion on the character as a whole, and I think that is where I can confidently put him. And the reason I moved Subaru back up, no, what the fuck am I doing? I'm sorry. This is my opinion, and I keep doing the shit where like I'm thinking of what other people are gonna think of the list, and that's the reason why I kind of moved Subaru up. And this is my opinion at the end of the day. While I think Subaru has great development, I don't really like his character the most, if that makes sense. Senku, on the other hand, I damn near want to put Senku in God tier, and the reason why I want to put Senku in God tier, I'm gonna tell you why right now. And I'm gonna get hate for this one, and I really don't care, because it's like how much I enjoy. I think Senku, every time he's on the screen, he makes Dr. Stone an incredible watch. Senku, I've never gotten annoyed. I've never gotten bored with Senku. I think his development technologically and just seeing him use his brain to lead these groups of people to a civilization of technology, because you have to remember, he is the only person in this world that is doing, at least in his region, that is doing this shit. You know what I mean? Like, there's Tsukasa and shit, but no one has the brains like him and doing stuff like him. So he is the only one with the capability to really get this shit going right now, and he is doing it immaculately. It's great. It is so good to watch, and he has the comedy, and he has the swag. He has like everything that you want for me, right? I love him as a main character, and I'm going to put Senku as a god tier main character because I think he fits his show 100%, and there is nothing else to it. So next, I'm going to move on to Spike. I think Spike I would probably put in A tier. The reason why, I mean, I'm kind of foggy on Bebop as well. I watched that back when I watched Shampoo. I think the reason why I wouldn't even put Spike in god tier is just because there was so much diversity between, like, they showed, I don't know if diversity was the right word, but they showed a lot of different characters in Bebop, and while, like, Spike was a very cool character to watch, it felt like the show was, like, Spike, this character, like, everyone was sort of the main character, which is not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing at all. That doesn't take away from his greatness as a main character, but I feel like there were a lot of the times where we didn't see Spike the most. You know, like, you see him, but I feel like you don't, I felt like I didn't see him enough to properly confirm that he is a god tier main character for me. That's just my opinion, if that even makes sense. But I'm just gonna go past that now because, again, I don't really remember the most from Bebop. Shinichi from Parasite might have to be god tier as well. No, high A. I didn't really like his initial phase, like his little nerdy phase, but you see him go from that to an absolute threat. And you really see him develop and become slightly cold. And I really enjoy, I might have to put in, I don't know, should I put him in god tier? I can't see any flaws to his character from what I can remember. I really can't. Like, off of straight memory, I don't remember a lot of flaws to his character. I think I would put him in god tier because just off my memory, and correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, I really think he had like some really, really good development going from his very timid self to like a really, really cool dude and like a really like strong and like well-spoken character from the beginning to the end of the series. And I don't think there is like anything else to it, and if there was, then just remind me. But yeah, that's really it. Lelouch, god tier. I really don't have to talk about Lelouch, but if you haven't seen Code Geass, I'm just gonna have to explain that Lelouch is a big-brained maniac who's great. That's really all there is to it. It's like Code Geass is a very more serious show, and Lelouch is like sort of a villain but sort of a good guy at the same time, and he just takes that show to there is no better character than Lelouch in Code Geass. It is just, he runs that show to a T. Like, his plays that he makes with his Geass and how he treats other characters and how he thinks things through 7 steps ahead, it is just so great to watch. It is so great to watch, and I would highly recommend watching Code Geass just to see how Lelouch operates. And that's really all I gotta say about it. Next, we got Shinra. In terms of Shinra, I really like Shinra. Realistically, he's probably like a C tier main character in the anime. I don't know what happens in the I know he gets absolutely busted in the manga, but we have to think about the anime, and it's like, no, actually I would put him in B because he has been through some trauma. He's been through some trauma, and he deals with a lot mentally, especially with this smirking thing that he dealt with initially. And I feel like he is definitely becoming stronger and taking his own like leadership role a little bit in the show. And I really do. He's on the lower end of B, but I would put him in B tier because C is like for like very, very average. And I wouldn't put Shinra in average. I would say I like Shinra a little bit more than a C tier. And I think he does have B tier qualities for sure. Edward, god tier. I think I would put Edward in god tier. Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood is one of the best shows I've watched, and I think Edward had his mind set on something from the beginning of the show. He stuck to it. He had his little like sad moments, comedy moment. Like, every time I mention Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood to anyone, it's like, it's sort of like it does everything good. And I feel like if we're thinking of a main character, because if we look at like Lelouch, Light, Eren, those are like great main characters in like a different category of main characters. In terms of your typical main character, everything that you want them to do great, I think Edward encompasses all of that. in terms of being a protagonist and a good person, and like, you know what I mean? I feel like Edward hits all the categories, and I would put him in God tier. If you've seen Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, I feel like you know what I'm talking about. But I don't think there's really any debating that part. I think Edward's a top tier main character overall across the board. Next I'm gonna go Bam, Tower of God. Okay, so do I want to put Bam in F? I do. Realistically, I think I would put Bam in like a D tier because he hasn't developed. He hasn't. He's very timid. He doesn't know what he's doing in the show. He doesn't, realistically. He got played by Rachel. What happened? I'm sorry. This video is going to have spoilers. I'm sorry about that. This video will have spoilers. But no, he got played by Rachel. And, like, he has his moments, but he's very oblivious still. He's still very oblivious. But he does have his little, very little moments. But, again, still oblivious to a lot of things. And, yeah, that's really it. That's really, really it. Like, because I'm looking at the characters that I've seen, and I don't think there's any character on this list that I would kind of put in F tier. Maybe one, but I don't even know. Next we got Claire from Claymore. I watched Claymore recently. I think the ending of the show itself was very abrupt, and the concept of the show was cool, genuinely. And I genuinely actually started enjoying the show. Claire going from like a normal girl, seeing Teresa get killed, and then becoming a Claymore herself, seeing her go from the bottom Claymore all the way to the, not all the way to the top, but like, you know, sacrificing a lot and then becoming an Oni or whatever it was called to try and beat Priscilla and do all of that jazz. It was great. It was great to watch. She doesn't really have, no, actually I would put her in B because she does have a personality, and she starts off as a very, very cold character, but she starts warming up to that one kid, and it's I wouldn't put her in C. I wouldn't. I think she's a solid main character for the show, and like I feel like they focus on her enough, but not all the time, and I think it's good. I think she's a good main character. I do. I would put her in B tier. Ichigo, love me some Ichigo. I'm moving Subaru to A. I keep looking at Subaru in B, and it just doesn't sit right with me, so I'll put Subaru in A. I feel like Subaru should be an A tier realistically. Ichigo, I mean, Ichigo became stronger. I think Ichigo is like a super cool main character, but Ichigo became stronger. He's dealt with a lot. You really see his development in strength and his maturity for sure. I think I would put Ichigo in B. I like him. I love me some Ichigo. Love me some Ichigo. I don't think I would put him in God tier because obviously he's very typical shonen main character. You know what I mean? And obviously I haven't seen Thousand Year Blood War arc yet, so this may change. I don't know. Would I put Ichigo in B? Yeah, I would put Ichigo in B. Leonardo from Blood Blockade, I don't really remember him the most, so I'm just going to put him in C because I don't remember not liking him. But I felt like I had to include him on this list because I have watched that show. Tatsumi from Akame ga Kill. I was going to put Akame, but I felt like Tatsumi was just the main character of that show. Folded with Ez's death, 100%. I'm taking up that opportunity. I don't care. I really don't care. I'm going to be honest with you. Because if he took up that opportunity, the outcome of the show would have probably been the same regardless. So it's like you might as well. You know what I mean? But Tatsumi, you really see his growth. He's weak at the beginning somewhat. I like Tatsumi. I would put Tatsumi at B. I would put Tatsumi at B. I think Tatsumi is very hardworking. I think you see him develop mentally, his strength. He's okay. Like, he's not like the coolest main character, but he's okay. So I'd put him at B. Next we got Mob. Mob has got to go in A or God tier. Reason being, it's just like when you see that genuine growth and that genuine effort in a character. And like, I think I might have to put Mob at God tier. I think because when you see, as I said, when you see that genuine growth, like him going to the bodybuilder club and like trying to better himself and then trying to become more confident in himself because he is like a very, very introverted person, and seeing stuff like that when you could like kind of relate to it in a real life type of way, it's like it hits a different spot compared to like some of these characters that are just like push-ups, 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 work hard, you know what I mean? It's like when you see it in a more mental way like that, and you see him really develop and really start to have confidence in himself no matter what anyone thinks, it's like it's really, really heartwarming, and I love it. love Mob for it. And then just seeing him snap on people too, that's also great. It's great on both terms. And I really got Mob's God tier, in my opinion. Next, another God tier, Light Yagami. We got the God tiers going in a row right now. I mean, if you haven't seen Death Note, just know Light is on like Lelouch level in terms of just like thinking things through 17 steps ahead. Seeing him battle against L and outplay L, and L kind of outsmart him. It was such a good dynamic they had going on. And seeing him, it's such a weird morality thing with Light, because it's like you would think he's doing good for the world, but he's kind of doing bad at the same time, similar to Eren, actually. If you, spoiler alert for Attack on Titan incoming, by the way. But it's similar in terms of like wanting to take away all of these bad people, but you are the one doing the bad and taking them away. So it's a morally like headbutt, you know what I'm saying? And it's great. So good. So good just looking at Light Yagami, man. And I'm putting him God tier. Natsu, I haven't seen enough of Fairy Tail to really assess, right? But to me, and from what I've seen and heard, Natsu seems like a very, very average shonen main character to me. That's just with the information I got. And everyone, you could put your opinions in the comments and correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't know. You know, I don't know enough, but I have seen like a decent number of Fairy Tail episodes. So I just felt like I had to include him. Jin Mori Jin, however you say his name. I think he's cool. I never finished God of High School. I'll put him in C. There's nothing really to it. Okay, with Rimuru. Now the picture I have here, spoiler alert for Slime. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Spoiler alert. I'm pretty sure this is Demon King Rimuru, and I haven't seen this part of the show yet. I already knew this happened though. I knew this is a thing that was coming in the show eventually. B tier. I think you could see him develop from a slime, and I like the fact that he brings in all these people, and he's a very morally caring person. Wow, voice crack. He cares for a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? And I really like that, and I like the fact that he wants to like have everyone equal, but then when you see the stuff happen to Shion, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna kill 10,000 people, become Demon King. Like, then you start to see him like kind of become a menace. So it's like, you could see both sides of him, and it's like really sick to see. I like him. I like Rimuru a lot. He's a really funny also main character, and he's definitely itching towards A, but I don't think I would put him there yet. Goku, from what I've seen, to me is C tier. I mean, to me it's like he fights, becomes stronger, and then that's really the end of the story. I've played all the Dragon Ball games, so I know the story. Obviously I haven't watched the show like that. I've watched a lot of the show, but very like jumbled back and forth, like go from like episode 2 to like episode 150 to, you know, like I never watched it in like its order like that. From what I know, he's a very average main character. Eren Yeager, God tier. That is no debate. I feel like everyone now can fully with confidence say that Eren is God tier, because a lot of these are my opinion, but I feel like Eren being the God tier main character is just facts. Okay, it's like looking at him go from where he started as a child, seeing his mom get eaten, having this vendetta against the Titans, he's like, I'm gonna kill the Titans, then he becomes one himself, then he has to learn how to like, then he gets betrayed by Reiner, so now it's like not only him versus the Titans, but him versus the humans, and then it eventually becomes him being the Titan against the humans, because he starts the rumbling, and now he's taken out all the humans that talked against his people. It's sick. It's like, it's a whole character switch, and he's been on it from the beginning, because the Attack Titan has the memory thing that like you can like alter the past or whatever the shit is. So he's been on this from the jump. And it is ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous. I'm gonna be honest. it was something else. I've never seen some shit when he was talking to Grisha and he was like, why aren't you killing him? And then I've never seen a scene like that in anime. That was like something else to me. I was shaking in my boots. Like, you know what I mean? It was really sick. Eren God tier, 100% for me. Jotaro, I would put Jotaro at B tier. Jotaro's a Chad. He is. He's really beefy, and he looks like a very brolic, like normal, like jock type of dude, but he's actually very intellectual, especially, and you really get to see that in parts 4 and 6, his like intellect, and like his strategizing actually come into play a lot of the time. And he's a very smart character. I actually might put Jotaro at A. I really like me some Jotaro. I think at the beginning of part 3, you really get to see his ignorance. Like, he's very, very ignorant, and he doesn't really have knowledge on like stands or like what's going on. And you really see him like learn a lot. You really see him learn a lot. And then in part 4, he's teaching others. In part 6, he's helping others. So I think Jotaro has had a lot of really good development over the course of his like parts so far. Tanjiro, honestly, Tanjiro's an A tier for me. And I feel like people may disagree, but hear me out. I watched part 1, season 1 of Demon Slayer, and I thought Tanjiro was as average as you can get, just a little bit nicer, right? But when I watched season 2 of Demon Slayer, it's like everything I knew about Tanjiro was just like elevated, right? His morality. He always did the shit where like if you kill the demon, he would like console them or whatever. But it was just like the way it was done in season 2 and portrayed, you really see Tanjiro's effort. You know, like Tanjiro getting his fingers snapped and like running around with 2 dislocated fingers and like getting cut up the chin and getting sliced and diced and getting beat around and all this shit. And you just see him keep getting up. And you could see the pain in his eyes. And you could see like, you know, you could see the tears, you could see the pain. And it's the way they portray it, because that is important. That is a very important thing when it comes to a lot of these main characters in these animes. If it's not portrayed properly, it could definitely take away from the character's value. And the way Tanjiro was portrayed, it just made his character so much better and so much more. Tanjiro is deadass one of my favorite main characters right now. Next, we got Soma from Food Wars. I mean, he's a chef, hardworking chef. I would put him in C. I think he's funny. I think he does what he's supposed to do. I personally don't see anything that crazy. Luffy is an A tier for me. And I mean, you just see him go through a lot. You see Luffy go through a lot. You see Luffy mature. Actually, I'm going to have to put Luffy in God tier for me as well. Reason being, One Piece has obviously been going on for a long ass time. So regardless, whether you like it or not, you're going to see Luffy's development. And you see Luffy go from... Luffy's always going to be immature, but you see him going from an ignorant, immature pirate, not knowing anything about the sea, and he learns many lessons along the way. He gets humbled many times, many times, makes a lot of sacrifices to his own body, puts himself in very, very difficult situations. He had his own brother die. You know, you can't get any more development than that. You know, with the 1,000 episode, you know, you're gonna get that development, and they do it great with Luffy. And I think Luffy is a top tier main character. He just is. Just because you gotta love Luffy. I'm not even trying to be biased because One Piece is my favorite anime. I genuinely think that Luffy is a god tier main character. Next we got Tanya. From what I've seen of Tanya the Evil, absolute menace. First of all, menace. I think she's B tier from what I've seen. I don't remember much. I think I've watched like 4 episodes of Tanya the Evil, but from what I've seen, she was a threat. Itadori is one of those characters that I just like off the bat because he looks cool. But realistically, I would probably put him in B, even edging towards C, because it's like actually no. He went through the Junpei. That was some development towards his character, for sure. And I think you really see him mature because he's very ignorant from the jump. And I feel like once that thing happened, he like kind of took it a lot more seriously. And I feel like you really see him start to, like, as I said, take his craft more seriously. And like with Toto and when they're fighting Hanami and like that whole thing, it's like he's willing to learn new things. And he's not a loudmouth. Like, I feel like he's very like observant. And like he's willing to listen to people, and he's also willing to put his body on the line to get the job done. So with Josuke, I feel like, honestly, while he did like surpass his limits, quotation marks, at the end when he was fighting Kira, I feel like Josuke was honestly the same throughout for the most part. I wouldn't really put him any higher. I think he's an not to say I don't like his character. I actually really like his character. But out of the Joestars, other than Jonathan, he's my least favorite. For sure. Well, out of the JoJo main characters, because obviously Giorno is not a Joestar like that. Lucy from Elfen Lied, I'm pretty sure has to be somewhere up here, A or B. I remember watching the show. I remember seeing some very gory scenes. And I'm probably going to put her in B. I feel like she's B, from what I recall. Boruto. Whether you like it or not, Boruto, in his maturity and character development, he has definitely grown. He has. If you look at him from the beginning of the series, especially with the shit he did in the Chunin exam trying to cheat, like, he learned how to work hard, hone his craft, and now he has the karma thing going on, so he really has to, like, and he's taken responsibility with the fact that his dad and Sasuke now are, like, they're not weak, but they are a lot weaker. They're not gods anymore. You know what I'm saying? They are high-class ninja. Still probably the strongest in their realm, but it's like, now he has to take on that responsibility. And I know some shit's going on in the manga, too, that is, like, even adding on to his case. And with that being said, I would put Boruto at a B tier right now. I like him. I think I'm going to like him more when he's a teenager, but I like him, and I feel like he gets a lot of hate for no reason. I'm going to be honest. Next, we got Yuki from Future Diary. I'm going to be honest. He might be an F. I don't really like watching Yuki. Yuno saved him. I'm not going to lie. Yuno and her psychoticness kind of saved him because he was very, very annoying. And even with the end of the series, him becoming a god or whatever, I really don't even care about it. I just never really liked his character. And, like, I don't know. He was so indecisive. Like, if I recall correctly, when did he, like, mess with Yuno, have bleep with her, and then, like, say, like, he doesn't want to, and then just do it again? Like, what, didn't he go back and forth with it? Like, you gotta pick a side, dude. I don't even remember what happened. I really don't. I remember the show being absolutely, it was great. I really enjoyed Future Diary. I just don't think I liked Yuki. I really didn't like Yuki, actually. Next, we got Deku. Okay, Deku gets hate. My Hero Academia gets hate. Realistically, Deku is no lower than B tier. No lower than B tier. You really see him go from nothing becoming something, and he just only gets better. I haven't read the manga. I don't think I would put him in A. I think I would put him in B. I think I would put Deku in B tier. Asta, I like Asta more than Deku. Do I think Deku has more depth than Asta? I do. I do think that Deku has more depth than Asta. I think Asta is just a more likable character and a cooler character to me. You know what I mean? Would I put Asta in A tier? I don't think so. I really don't. I don't think I would put Asta in A tier. I think I would put him right in B tier with Deku. Hinata, I mean C tier. Cool main character, high Q. Giorno. Thing about Giorno, he's just cold. Giorno is completely cold, but I don't think his, like, actual emotional development is really present that much. I like him a lot. I think he's a good main character. I think I would put him in B though. Emma, I think Emma's A tier. I think Emma oh shit, the Promised Neverland kids are hard. Because it's like, Norman is a big brain, but I think Emma is, like, a really good leader. Emma is a really, really good leader, and you see her, no matter how much of a flop The Promised Neverland was, you really see Emma, like, Emma's always been a leader from the jump, but seeing her take control every single time, it's really great to see, and I think it makes her a really good character. Jolyne, I'm not going to lie to you. I would put her up there with her dad in A tier. I would. There's something, they carry that same energy. Jotaro and Jolyne, both my favorite Joestars. I mean, Kujo, obviously her last name, but you know what I mean. Oh yeah, Jotaro's last name is also Kujo. But I think they both carry the same energy. Jolyne is like a loud female Jotaro, and I love both of them. I really do. As soon as Stone Ocean came out, and I don't know what happens in the last half because Netflix doesn't want to release it, but I love her. She's sick. Next, we got Kaneki. I mean, I personally am not going to put Ri in here. I don't think I'm going to include Ri just because my knowledge on Ri isn't the best. But from what I've seen, I would have to put Kaneki in God tier just because it's like you see him go from this timid little boy, and then he gets tortured, and then he becomes a threat. He becomes a top-notch threat. And like, to me, right, as shitty as it sounds, whenever you have that character flip from like good to evil, or not even necessarily evil, but like from a very timid person to a very badass person, it's different when it's like, no, actually, my bad. It's different from when it's like from a good person to like a more sinister person, and a more, because a lot of these main characters obviously go from like being quiet to like loud and powerful and shit. But like seeing shit like what happened with Eren, being one of the most genuine people in the show and caring people in the show, to what he is now, it's like those character development flips are like what really make a character good to me, you know. And it really, and Kaneki is also super cool. Like, he's just sick altogether, but just seeing how caring he was, man, he was so caring, so he was like the sweetest dude. And then Jason just fucked him up, messed him up, and seeing that flip as crazy, it was just sick to me. No, I don't know. I wouldn't leave him in God tier. I like him. Naruto want to become Hokage. Set out to become Hokage. I like Naruto. I would put him in A tier. I would. I think he's great. I think he did everything he wanted to do, and he did it well. I really don't have anything else to say about it. That's really it. He just did everything well. Naofumi, from what I've seen of Shield Hero, I'm pretty sure he gets better. I would put him in B from what I've seen. I really don't have much to say about him because I think he's a super cool main character, and I think he definitely has went through a lot. For sure, from what I've seen, especially with Malty and like how she like outed him like that. That was just fucked up. And how he is like the worst hero of the four, and he's showing them that he is not the worst, that he is indeed the best. I'm gonna get hate for this, and I'm gonna say it right out the floodgates. I don't even care if season 2 is not out yet. Rudeus is a god tier main character, and I'm gonna tell you why right now, right? Keep in mind my opinion may be bad to you or wrong in quotations. That's okay, but I'm just gonna let you know my opinion right now. This is my opinion on it. You see Rudeus develop, right? You see Rudeus develop from a fetus, not a fetus, from a toddler. My fault. And you see his physical growth and his mental growth, and he's always been like the difference between. And I compare Rudeus to Subaru all the time because they both are like from, I personally think, some top tier isekai. Subaru simps for Amelia, in my opinion, right? And he like does the same jokes, but Rudeus, in his perverted ways, while a lot of them are bad, it's a lot more realistic. And like, I personally like the realism of Mushoku Tensei and how they treat Rudeus, and how like Rudeus is absolutely busted, but then especially in the second half of season 1, you really see him get like humbled. You see him get humbled by not only by the dragon guy, but also by Eris, because she takes his V card and then she bounces. She's out of there. And then with that being said, he really has to like develop now, like really, and he's already been developing and coming into his own, and like treating, oh, I remember what I said. Okay, he was an adult in the real world with like the idea, like with the thought process of like a kid, very immature, but now he's a kid in this world with the thought process of an adult, and he's more mature, if that makes sense, because obviously physically in the other world he was an adult. So now he's in this world as a kid with the mindset of a maturing adult, because when he first drops into the isekai world, he obviously still has his like immature mindset from the previous world, but as he develops, he actually gets to grow. You see him grow, and you see him like hold back from saying some things, and you see him make decisions in a more mature way, and you see him like, while he's like obviously always going to be his perverted self, you see him like not do it as often and take a lot of situations a little bit more seriously. Like the thing, he's definitely matured, and he just handles things a lot more maturely now, and he's only going to grow from here, and his growth has already been stellar in my opinion. And I feel like he's very, Mushoku Tensei just makes shit a lot more real. Like you genuinely are watching a fantasy adventure and not an isekai anime. Like it's not done in the anime format at all, in my opinion. And I feel like Rudeus, the same applies to Rudeus. Meliodas, he's been through a lot. He has been. He's been through a lot. I think he's roughly been the same, though, in terms of how he acts throughout the whole series. I know he's been through a lot. I know he became Demon King and did whatever and then became good again. I don't personally think... Actually, no. I maybe may have to put Meliodas at a bottom A tier just because he's like a cool main character. He's strong. Gotta love his... He's absolutely busted. And I feel like he went through a lot of ups and downs. Like, I've talked to one of my family members about this because he's a 7 Deadly Sin fanatic, and I really wasn't on the Meliodas train like that. And I feel like I can't deny that he has a lot of development, a lot of aspects to his character that that are like, because he went through his like whole curse thing, then he goes through getting beat by the 10 Commandments, then he gets like his Demon King thing, and then like he has to regain his soul and do all that stuff, and he's been through a lot. He has been. Classroom of the Elite, right? I'm on episode 9 of 12, so I don't know what's happening in these next 3-4 episodes of Classroom of the Elite. First off, I'm gonna make a whole separate or 2 videos about how I personally think the show is overhyped. I do. I'm watching it through, and it's a good show. Don't get me wrong. I enjoy a lot of parts of the show, but it's like, why is this show getting as much hype as it is? I don't know. Maybe I'll find that out right now. I like the fact that he is as smart as he is. He's nuts. He is top tier big brain. I don't like the fact that, like, unless there's something I'm missing, and like it's like the opportunities that are presented in front of him with these blatantly flirting girls, and like, I'm not necessarily saying he has to be interested in getting a relationship or getting with someone, but it's like, at the beginning of the show, you see him talk about it, right? He's like, oh, I've never been with a girl before. I've never gotten a girl's number. This is exciting. And he never mentions stuff like that again. And like, we get girls like Sakura, whatever her name is, Glasses Girl, Bodacious, talking to him, clearly flirting with him and like having a crush on him. He's not even noticing it. Other girl, what's her name? Black-haired girl, the main girl. She clearly feels some way about him, and I'm sure he could see that with how smart he is. Doesn't say anything about it. Whatever the other girl's name is, who has 2 different personalities, I mean, you could clearly see that she has something for him, but she's just a lunatic. I would do the same thing. I would kind of back away from her. But with black-haired girl and Sakura, or whatever her other name is, they both clearly feel some type of way about him, and their means of showing it are different. But it's the fact that he doesn't even pick up on it and like never even mentions it that kind of annoys me and bothers me. And I would like him, like, you see him smirk rarely, but I would like him to show emotion sometimes. And this may be a case of he just has to develop, and I'm gonna see that in season 2 and 3, which may very well be the case. I don't like the fact that people are saying that season 1 version of him is god tier, though, unless he just becomes an absolute threat the next 4 episodes. He may. Keep that in mind. I haven't seen the last 4 episodes of Classroom of the Elite, and I will probably finish it this week. So this may be revised. Obviously not on video, but as it stands right now, I would probably put him at a high B. I like his character. I think he's sick. Don't get me wrong. But I don't think he's A or god tier right now. I don't. I really don't. Takemichi. Lastly, Takemichi. Crybaby hero. I mean, he is sick. If you like watching him up until episode 12 and then him become serious and like locked in, because it's like one thing for characters like Asta and Deku, characters who have supernatural abilities to surpass their limits, but Tokyo Revengers is a real ass show. Like, if you get shot, I mean, let me pause on that, because Baki was doing some shit. Baki died like 7 times over. You know, he was doing some shit. And Mikey's kick shouldn't even be real. So a lot of the things in the show are very fictional, but the world itself is a very non-fictional world, and it's like real. You know, like if someone gets shot in the head in Tokyo Revengers, they're dying. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're not going to get a power boost or something. So seeing Takemichi go from this weakling to a captain who's still a weakling, but who puts on the bluff that he isn't a weakling, and he really takes that position of authority, I would have to put him in A tier. I actually like Takemichi. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm thinking about it. I think he definitely developed, and he's a very enjoyable character to watch develop. He is. He's really sick. He is. It's just, he's very, very enjoyable character to watch develop, especially in the last episode when Kisaki just absolutely stuns everyone as like my hero. Like, what did he even mean by that? I don't know. Or our hero, whatever he said. I don't know what he meant by that. But it was sick. And clearly there's something that happens that we don't know yet. But we'll just have to wait and see. Just have to wait and see. I think Takemichi's A tier. This is my main character tier list. Now I'm going to revise it because I feel like there may be some things off. Yuki I'm keeping down here. These two I'm keeping down here. C tier. Oh, why is Joseph in C? Oh, gosh. I didn't even notice he was down there. I'm sorry. I'm going to be honest. That was not intentional. And for the people in the comments, the keyboard warriors going crazy, I'm sorry. He's not C tier. Boom, 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 boom. I would keep C tier the same. I'm going to rank B through God tier, with the person on top being my most favorable in that category, closest to the next tier, and then the bottom being the furthest. So I'll put Thorfinn up there, Joseph up there. I like Asta. Ichigo is up there too. Giorno up there as well. I like Koji. I would put Koji close to A. He's just not there for me yet. Love me some Itadori. A little bit more than Shinra. Like Boruto up there too. Claire's cool. Rimuru, I love me some Rimuru too, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'd put him like right here. Ray and Norman I like. Naofumi I like. Oh gosh, I would definitely put Tanya at the end. Tatsumi at the end. Lucy at the end, just because I don't really remember her like that. Claire. So yeah, that's probably how my B tiers sit, and can probably switch some things around. But so I would say Thorfinn's closest to A. Closest to God tier in this category would probably have to be. Love me some Tanjiro, but he's not close to God tier. I mean, Gon's up there for sure. Gon is definitely up there. Subaru, I mean, Jotaro's up there for me too. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like Jolyne. Oh, I really like Tanjiro. I do. This is just like bias. I really like Tanjiro. Mugen I really like as well. Naruto's up there. Oh man, Subaru. Damn, I don't know. Subaru. Damn. I like Jolyne more than Subaru. I do. Do I like Jolyne more than Naruto? Not necessarily. Do I like Tanjiro more than Naruto? Not necessarily. Do I like Mugen more than Naruto? I think so. I think that's where I'm stopping. Meliodas. I think I like Takemichi a little bit more than Meliodas. I think I like him more than Emma. Spike. Do I like Takemichi more? I do. I think I do like Takemichi more than Spike. I'm sorry for my Spike fans. God tier. I mean, I've got to put Lelouch up there. Lelouch is a threat. Damn, God tier's hard. God tier's hard. Okay, well, let me put the people in the back. Mob would be in the back. Edward, he's like perfect, but I would put him in the back too. Rudeus, I would put in the back. Kaneki, I would put in the back. Shinichi, I would put in the back. I love Senku. I would put him back here too, though. So it's between these four. I think I made a video on this about my favorite character of all time being Luffy, but I don't think it is. I think realistically, after what I just witnessed with Eren, I personally, and this may just be the hype train. This may just be the hype train. And the hype speaking to me in my head right now. I personally may have to put Eren at God tier. I mean, not God tier, but as my favorite on this list. I may have to put him as my favorite on this list. As basic as that may sound, it's like, well, first of all, let me put Lelouch in light here. Yeah, let me put Lelouch in light here. But basic as this may sound, you know, seeing, because Eren was such a caring person, like Lelouch from the start was a menace, right? Light from the start was a menace, and they both were just like super smart. With Eren, you see him, not only do you see him like be the innocent person that he is, transform into this absolute like threat, but you also see the fact that he has been controlling this shit the whole time. So it's like you see two different like big ass things. Like Eren's got some like double D's on him, full of just like meat. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, I don't know. To me, I would put Eren top of the list. From the shows that I've seen, I'll put Eren top of the list. I think this is my list. And I know people aren't going to agree with it. I know people are not going to agree with it, and that's okay. Because everyone is entitled to their own opinion. And I may definitely have some hiccups in here. Like Thorfinn, I could realistically probably move to A tier. And I think I will. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think I might put Thorfinn in A tier. I'm at the bottom of A tier. Meliodas at the bottom of A tier. Oh, oops. Yeah, I think I would put Thorfinn because I do like Thorfinn a little bit better than Takemichi and Subaru. And that's it. So yeah, see, like I was looking at it and I've been eyeballing Thorfinn this whole time. Thorfinn is probably up here for me because I have to think of who I like him better than, and I do like him up to here. Same with Joseph. Like, I do like Joseph better than Emma. And I do like him more than Meliodas. And Spike. And Takemichi. And Subaru. See, look. And now I'm here. You know what I'm saying? Like, this was just a whole different, like, simple switch that I just thought of. So it's like, I'm looking at it now and I think that's it. I think that's it. I do. I think that's it. I think that's all the changes that I'm going to make. I do love me some Ichigo too. I would put Ichigo at the top of B. I would put Ichigo at the top of B. I love Ichigo. But I don't think I would put him in A tier. I don't. But yeah, no, I definitely would move Thorfinn and Joseph. So for the people who actually watched up to this point or skipped to this point, and you saw me put Joseph in B at first, and you saw me put Thorfinn in B at first, and you got thoroughly upset, there you go. Okay, there you go. But no, that's it. That's it. God tier is a little bit jumbled. I would say the first four, though, are like in the right order. The last bunch of them, you could really rearrange them in a lot of different ways. So I'm not even going to go into that. But from the anime that I've seen, this is my main character tier list. If you disagree, that is okay with me. That's a bar. Stop playing with me. Oh, shit. I'm spitting heat. Can they even compete? I don't know. But I got a lot of main characters that are in B. Okay, I'm just going to stop. So, that is it. That is it. Let me know your opinions in the comments. Let me know if this list is valid. And if it's not, that's okay. On to the next one. I don't know what's coming next. I don't know what I'm doing next. Probably some more Elden Ring. I love me some Elden Ring. Definitely going to hop on the AOT reactions. Probably do some versus battles. I don't even know yet, to be honest with you. I got to do my Jujutsu Kaisen movie review. I don't know if I posted that first or now after this one, but we'll see. But yeah, that's really it. And on to the next one.